Stephanie Weiderstrand. Stephanie is a mother of 3 children, and she and her family live in Sweden. She has a daughter who is on the autism spectrum, and her daughter also has ADHD, which is
attention deficit disorder.
Attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder,
yes,
for those who want to know what the H is.
Yes.
And other learning difficulties. As Stephanie has worked to find a way to support her daughter, she has realized that really what she's working on is finding a way to help her whole family to thrive. And she's gone beyond that to realize that there are so many other families like hers, so that she says that her big purpose in life goes beyond just helping her own family to thrive, but helping other families raising autistic children to thrive as well. So today we'll be exploring with Stephanie how she's doing some of the work she does to make a difference to autism children and their families. Today, Stephanie is going to talk to us about finding your way to thrive as a family with autism. She's founded an organization called Beyond Special, and through that organization, she wants to give these families hope, purpose, and clarity despite the stress and chaos that they may be experiencing day to day. She wants to help these families to take simple actions to make every day more fulfilling. Welcome, Stephanie.
Hi. Hi, thank you for the introduction. And I'm very glad that you invited me here. I'm just like so excited.
It's a pleasure to have you, Stephanie. So Stephanie, let's chat first about you, because the minute we get into talking about autism and your whole purpose, I think I'll forget to ask you, what about Stephanie? So could you tell me a little bit about who you are, what your background is, and what you would have done before you started this special needs journey?
Okay. So let's say if we go into progression, okay, for me it's previously before all these, before I went on this autism journey, I have been working as an international marketer for about 15 years. So I've been working in various industries like IT, like telecoms and all. So I really enjoyed my career. I was traveling a lot and all, but through time when I found my daughter who had autism, I realized that I really could not continue on that career path that I was very passionate about. So I after a few years, I think after the first 3-4 years, I actually quit my job, and I became a stay-at-home mother for her. And I was also partially homeschooling her, taking care of her other needs. Like I was like her therapist, driving her to various therapies and all. The same thing what most parents raising children with special needs have to kind of go through themselves. So wearing a lot of hats as a stay-at-home mother.
How did stepping away from this career that you really loved affect you?
I think I went in with my eyes open, and I know that down the line I told myself there will be occasions whereby I feel that I would be missing out, but I had to also tell myself at the end of the day what is more important. At the end of the day, it was my daughter who needs my help, And maybe down the line, when things improve, I can consider it. But for now, she's my priority. So I really had to put that aside, even though I was giving up a career that, like I said, I really enjoyed a lot and I was doing very well in it. So, but I felt that my family comes first, and
Okay.
that was what mattered.
And your daughter is your middle child, is she?
Yes, she's middle child. I have three children, so of ages 14, 12, and 6. So, and she is my middle child. Mm.
Okay. So could you tell me a little bit about your children and about how the diagnosis came about that your daughter was autistic and what the experience has been having her go through the autism diagnosis and the support that you get now?
Well, I think what was interesting was during that time when we found out my daughter's autism, that was about 2 plus, and I actually my family was actually living in Belgium for about 6 years. So that was the early stages where we were there. We moved there because of my husband's work, and I was also working there, and we found out about this. uh, One of the big difficulties living in a foreign country, especially where English is not the first language, finding services can be a bit challenging. So we had to also embark on um, finding some of these resources overseas, like we went back to my home country and things like that to get her properly diagnosed and also to get some therapy. And when we got that, we came back to Belgium. We could also continue on with some of the services that were available then. Uh,
Okay.
so that was the challenge. So a few years later, after that, me and my husband decided that we should at least go back to at least one of our countries. He's from Sweden and I'm from Singapore. So we decided, okay, let's go back, and we will go back to Sweden and place some roots there. Because prior to that, my family, before my third child came, we were we moved 6 times and over 3 countries. So it's kind of stressful. So, but we kind of want to um, build some roots, grow some roots in some place. And we chose Sweden for it. And
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. So you are from Singapore. You all went back to Singapore to get the diagnosis.
correct.
And then you decided to settle in your husband's homeland, which is Sweden, to put
Yes,
down roots because that stability you felt would make a difference to your daughter.
correct.
What have you seen in how this changed in terms of your nomadic kind of life versus this settled life? How has that made a difference to her? What was she like before? What was she experiencing and showing before? And how has that changed now?
Um, I think from the very beginning, when we found out that she had autism. In fact,
How
we
old was
knew
she, Stephanie, when she was diagnosed?
she was about 2.5 to almost 3 years old, around there. And so when we kind of knew what was happening. One of the few things that my husband and I discussed is like, so what does it mean? Do we stop traveling like what we are doing today? Or do we stop doing this? We stop doing that? I mean, it's because a lot of things started making sense why she was behaving in a certain way. And and we asked ourselves, what happens now? And we knew that we had to make some adaptations. we know we had to make changes, but it doesn't mean that you stop doing what you do before. And that was the philosophy that we have followed since then. We still want to travel, maybe not as much as we did before, but we definitely want to continue with it. And we did. So we really cut that a lot, but maybe doing 1 to 2 trips and things like that, and making adaptations based on the difficulties that she's facing. And then we adjust it every single time we do it. So today, she is fairly an experienced traveler, and it wasn't so before. Before that, it's like if we will go to a hotel that is new, she would scream, and it's like, no, I'm not familiar with this, or things like that. Or she would cry for a 12-hour flight throughout, and it's like, oh my god, do I have to hear this for the whole 12 hours crying? um so we made adaptations to it, how to help her. And now she's fairly seasoned. She's not crying at every hotel. We tell her what's happening, what she's going to expect. And in fact, last year, when we usually like travel at least during the summertime. So she came, she took out all the luggages and said, it's time to pack our bags, let's go to the airport. And I said, no, it's not happening. We're having COVID now. so so that she didn't quite understand, because she kind of got used that we were doing it at least once a year. And then it's like, no, we're not doing it. We are staying put this year.
Right.
I saw it as something positive, that, she wants to. In fact, she's telling me, oh, I want to go to Japan. I want to travel to London and things like that. And I was like, okay, not now, but hopefully.
That's a big win, Stephanie. That's a big win. I
Yes.
remember as a child as a mom of a child with special needs, going on a plane being a very, very stressful thing for me. Because when my child had a meltdown, when my child started to throw up, when she felt stressed, it affected everybody on that plane. And not everybody is kind to you because they see you as imposing on their space, imposing on their quiet. If you have a child who is noisy, you should not come on this flight. I have a right to quiet. There are, just like children with autism exist on a spectrum,
Mhm.
so too everybody you're going to meet is going to give you a response that lies on this spectrum, on a spectrum of its own. Because there are very, very heart-centered people that you will meet who will help you, who will sing to your child, who will just send positive energy, and you will feel it. You'll feel embraced by it. It calms your child down. But you also feel some people who are very, very put out by what you can't control. So I want to celebrate that you were able to work with your daughter, and that she has been able to reach a point where you say, let me tell you what we're going to do, so that she becomes a part of it. It's not being done to her, it's being done with her. And that's wonderful. That's where we want our children to be.
Yeah. No, so I really enjoy that she has come to a point where she's enjoying it. It was not always the case, but we, like I said, we have an idea how we want our lives to be. And to stay at home, to feel imprisoned or things like that. Not when me and my husband, we like to go out, we don't want to stay at home. and we
Right.
want and we love bringing our kids along. We really do. We like to bring them out for dinner. We like them to bring them out. We go to restaurants, so we eat out, not every time, but we want them to have that experience of
Right.
eating out. We want them to have the experience of traveling the world, or even more practical stuff like groceries. We had a very challenging time going to the groceries with her. She was just screaming. So again, ask the question, should we one stay at home and the other one just go and do the groceries? So, but we ask ourselves, does she need this? Would she be needing this skill down the road? Yes. So we go
Yeah.
as a family. So that kind of thing. So because the both of us were working, the only time we can do it is on a Saturday.
Right.
That's the only time we can actually do groceries then, because Sundays, I think in Belgium, the stores are closed. So you only have Friday or Saturday to kind of do your groceries. And so you can imagine how crowded it is.
So
So
I'm listening to you and I am hearing it's always easier to do it alone because it's less stressful. I get it done faster. I already have had a very tiring week. So why don't I leave one parent home with the child and go get it done? I can certainly round up everything faster and not
correct,
pay the. But it sounds to me like such an important approach because it's an investment in your child's future.
correct.
It's time, it's energy, it's effort, it's planning, it's struggling with the meltdown right there in the middle of everybody, feeling embarrassed, feeling judged, but realizing that if I work through it now, and if I keep working on it slowly, 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 I move it from this place and I
Yeah.
bring it to where I will know that she has the support. You know, when I'm no longer around, when she grows up, she'll have more independence. That takes guts. That takes commitment. And I applaud that.
I mean, for me, I see it as, like I said, I believe in simple daily actions. So this bringing her to the supermarket every week, you know, faithfully helped me to for her to come to a point of time where she can actually go there. In fact, right now we are giving her more difficult tasks like, okay, here's a list, go and get all the stuff right now and we will see you here. Or right now we even get her to try to write a list of things that she wants and then also go and get it for us, things like that. So we build it up bit by bit,
Right.
things like that. But initially, it's just trying to get her to keep calm in that crazy, noisy environment.
Right. So we don't aim for 100% on the first day.
Never, never.
You very slowly drip feed her the skills she wants
Yes,
and you build her to the life skills that you want her to have.
correct.
That's wonderful. In our case with Emma is brain injured and bedridden. I guess some people would say that it's not comparable, but it is because she too had things that she couldn't do, and we've slowly brought her along. You know, in our case, it was that she couldn't swallow. So slowly, 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 you work on those things. All it is allow your child to develop at a rate that they can.
Yes.
Forget about comparing your child to anyone else.
Mm.
There's a developmental checklist, and that's an ideal and it's nice to have. And we know that someday we'd like our child to get here, but we don't expect our child to just suddenly teleport from where they are to this
No.
place. It's developmental, it's gentle. And the best way that I've seen is exactly what you're saying. It's integrate skills development into the way you live your life.
Correct.
If you're looking at television, maybe you have your child out with you sitting up because she may not be sitting up well. So sit up and let her be a part of your family. If she can't eat, bring her to the table with you so that she experiences a social setting. You know, those were the things that we eventually learned because we used to have Emma separate and feed Emma separate and do everything separate because she was stressed by social connection. She was stressed by too much noise. But if we had never stretched her, she would never learn to tolerate noise. She would never learn to want to eat. So whatever your child's challenges are, I think Stephanie is teaching us a really important lesson. It's not about where you want to get her happening in a flash. It's about you saying, you know what are the 20 steps that we could take to get to the destination? Let's work on step 1. Even if nobody else sees that as an important step, it's a miracle for us.
I mean, for me, it's like you said, is reframing the way we see success. And I see success in the very little steps. If I see success that going to the supermarket, she was all quiet and, you know, she didn't have a meltdown that's successful, then maybe I feel that personally, I would never ever feel that I've done enough, and I'll feel very unsuccessful as a result. But I don't want that. I want to feel positive, but then being positive is changing the way I see success. And so that means if I can get her to stay in the supermarket for 10 minutes without screaming and shouting or things like that, that's successful. She may shout later, but my goal was 10 minutes this time. Okay, let's do it. And after 10 minutes, she breaks down. Okay, I'll tell my husband I'm going to the car with her. I will see you later, and I'll wait in the car. Then my husband does the rest of the shopping.
Right.
So things like that. But it's still, I don't consider that moment unsuccessful because she stayed on for 10 minutes. And maybe the next time I'll do 15 or 20 or the whole entire time. But each time I am building up 5 steps.
Small actions are things to be, I don't know, treasured, I think.
Correct.
Emma turned 9 in March. And last week, I was changing her clothes, putting on her pajama tops. And she bent her elbow for the first time so I could pull her arm out of the sleeve. That's not something anybody expects to be great, but I had a big celebration because I was able to bend Emmy's hand and take it out without a fight of 10 minutes. So to me, that's big. That's big because Emmy predicted that I would be coming to that arm. And she relaxed her arm and bent it for me and helped me to bring it out. And that told me that there was cognition, there was processing, there was cause and effect. There were things that a brain injured child is not expected to be able to do.
I mean, in this special parenting is only the parent can, or those who share your experience can really understand, like, hey, my child actually bent her arm. And then for others who hasn't gone through our experience, it's like, yeah, right.
Move on. Come on. Talk about something important.
But here we are just like dancing here, to say, oh my God. Or like when my daughter started talking, because she was almost minimally verbal for like 7-8 years. And I experienced like she being quiet. And I'm always like this, imagine this chatty daughter coming up to me, mommy, this, happened to me, and all this talking and telling me about her day, but I could not. And that was I couldn't ask, like, are you hurt? What is wrong? Why are you crying? She couldn't tell me. So a lot of things comes with guessing work and things like that. So when she started speaking 2 words, 3 words, 4 words, and it's like, wow. And then but some people don't understand my joy.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes we look like crazy people, right? But but that's fine. So tell me, one of the things that I think sometimes we stereotype. We think an autistic person looks like this, an autistic person behaves like this. But the fact is, there are autistic people who you really can't tell by looking at them that they're autistic. and they seem very neuronormative, as some people say. They seem just like anybody else at school. And then you have the autistic person on the other end of the spectrum who may not be able to do very much at all. One of the things that my stereotype used to tell me about autistic children was that they had social challenges, social anxiety. I'm hearing some social things being the issue that you were talking about, like with going on the plane. How does she interact with her brothers?
It went through different phases. I mean, she had a loving, but there were, in the beginning, they were not so, how to say, close, even though my son did made attempts. He was a very loving brother. He cared for her and things like that. But I know now and then he would ask, like, I wish you would play with me more. I wish you would talk to me more. And I guess he never quite experienced that. So when my daughter was younger, but when I had my second child, I had this thought in my mind, my third child, sorry. And I had my third child, I was just thinking, is the relationship going to be similar like what she had with her brother? And it was maybe for the first year or so. I but I slowly saw her um, building certain social skills, affection towards her baby sister. And I would say that for someone who, I was teaching Bella how to get dressed before, because I think that was also another thing that she had to overcome. And so I would say, before the baby comes, I need to teach my daughter how to get dressed because I don't want to do two at the same time. And so while we're going through, and then when the sister came and she was slightly bigger, like 2+, she started changing her sister, getting her sister ready and things like that. And she never really played with dolls, the pretend play and all that kind of things. Her pretend play was her sister.
Right. Yeah.
So she saw that connection there, and she took care of her and things like that. So and then she had more interactions, like once I saw the two of them in the middle of the night. They were just sitting down, having a cup of milk, and then they were just chatting with each other. So it was really a very sweet moment, and which it was something she never really had with her brother at that age, but she's having it now with my younger daughter.
So she gets to be the caregiver sometimes, and she's grown a lot because of the younger sister.
Yes, she has grown a lot because of the younger sister. She has taken on the responsibility. I remember the very first time I realized that, because for a long time I thought that she was quite disconnected to the younger sister. And there was but I realized that changed because one day I heard her, how to say, crying, and I didn't know why she was crying. So I ran up, and then she was like crying because she was holding the sister from the back. Her sister was climbing up on a shelf, and she was just so scared that the sister was about to fall off, and she was just crying like, help me, because she is going to fall. And then I realized, you know what, I can't say that you're disconnected. You're not. It shows that you were afraid, you were protecting your sister, things like that. And that was really a great revelation.
Yeah. So Stephanie, you talk about, I mean, there are so many things that are coming into my mind that I want to ask, but I am mindful that that there's a limited time for our interview, I want to ask you about self-judgment and isolation and all these things. So instead, I'm going to ask you a general question, which is, you say that in addition to wanting your family to thrive, you really feel moved in a way that I too am moved, because we want our families to thrive and we don't want anybody else to go through what we've gone through if we can help. When you say that you want to help other families with autistic children to thrive, what does thrive mean to you? What are the elements that you would like to help them to smoothen so that's an easier journey?
I think is to find, if I were to change the word thrive into finding meaning and finding excitement for the next day, that I would mean thrive. That no matter what, I'm going to do this. No matter what the difficulties, I will move forward. I will not stand still. I will not freeze, or I will not do things that I fear. I do out of fear. Instead, whatever I do it out of love. And that's thriving. Because if I don't love something, or let's not talk about special needs. If I don't like a job, and then when you wake up in the morning, it's like, oh my God, I have to go to work now. That's not really thriving. Of course, maybe there's occasions where you're genuinely tired, but on the whole, majority of the time, we need to be excited about the work that we do. Whether it's our career, whether it's our family, whether it's our personal lives or what, we need to be excited about it. If not, it's really no point like waking up. And I went through a period whereby I was just going by day. Let's get this day over. And I don't want that. Because it came to the point whereby there needs to be more than just getting up, being a mother to my kids, sending them to school, preparing dinners and things like that. When I'm done with it, I'm just back to bed or watching TV or things like that, doing the really bare minimum. But it's not a life that I will be pleased with in the long run. And I need to be that, because I see it the way I react to my family, whether I am cold or whether I am just like angry and all. And these are not ways how to help them. So it is almost critical. It's not just say like, oh, I'm doing it for the family, that if I am happy, I'm a better person for my family. But if I'm miserable, a shell of myself, I don't think I can perform in the way they want me to. It's as simple as that. And therefore, it's important to thrive.
Yeah. You said it perfectly. It is about finding joy and fulfillment in our life, or else why are we living? Surely life has to have that meaning that you speak of. Yeah. I so love that. So I know that in your business, you have organized summits for autistic children before, and this year you've decided to really step up your game and focus your summit called Empowering
Autism. And the theme is Thriving as a Family with Autism. So
right. So you've decided that through this, you really want to support families. It's not just about the child, because the child gets better support when everybody is supported. So can you tell us a little bit about what the approach of the summit is? What's in that summit that's going to make special needs parents want to come there?
Of course, we will be addressing, there are some topics that we will definitely be addressing that will help your child, because so we will talk about like the kids' social emotional skills, how to deal with their outbreaks and big meltdowns and all that kind of stuff. So we will be addressing that, things like that.
So you have experts who are coming in to talk about these different topics?
Yes, we have experts coming on with these topics. But what I've done instead in the past, because in the past, most of my topics were all focused on the child. And I realized that this is not enough. This is not enough just to focus on a child. Not that I don't care about them, I do. But like I said, in order to thrive, you need to thrive as a whole family. Every child, every family member counts. And that is why I'm including the siblings here. And that is what you are going to talk about, the other siblings. It's not just about the special child, it's about the other siblings. If they are happy, mommy is happy. And then the siblings are happy too. The special siblings are happy. Or if I'm having a burnout, am I in the best space to do it? No. So we're going to talk about issues like that. And it's not just that, maybe it's having a career. But a lot of parents with special needs, one parent quits their job, like what I did. And it's quite common. So what do? It's lesser income and it puts more stress on the family. One feels that they're not being fulfilled career-wise, they're missing out, things like that. Oh, I gave up my career. And there might be resentment, there may be anger and all. But how can you deal with that? Still be happy and yet have a happy home front. So there's this lady, she's going to talk about how she restructures the home for career and homeschool. She's a homeschooler too. So that is about it. We talk more about this. And like I said, happy mom, happy family. and that's so true in many ways. So I really want to address more issues that is dealing with the parents, with other members and all.
That sounds wonderful. So when is this summit going to be run? How much is it going to cost? How do we get in?
All right. The summit is actually next week. It's next week. So there's still time to sign up for it. It's from the 12th to 14th of May. And it's going, the replays, there's recordings will be sent to you. The links will be sent to you and you can watch it. And it is free for up till the 16th of May. After that, if you like to have lifetime access to the videos, you can always purchase the VIP tickets to have lifetime access to the video recordings. And as a VIP ticket holder, I've also included some of my previous summit collections in this video too, in this package.
Oh, that's wonderful. So we get extra, we don't just get the live videos recorded, we get the summit videos from the past as well. What I'll do is in the comments below this video, I'll share the link so that you are able to click on the link in order to go into Stephanie's website for the summit and sign up to attend that summit from the 12th to the 14th of May, free of charge. And you can watch replays until the 16th, she said. After that, if you would like it forever, you get to buy the whole library from her.
Mm.
So Stephanie, that sounds so exciting. I am so pleased, excited that I'm one of the speakers. I'm actually talking about how to help our other children to be included. because I experienced that with my son. My son felt very left out because with a brain injured daughter, so much of the time that had been his just suddenly disappeared and was transposed to Emma. So we've found ways that we can include him, that we can show him that he's important to us too. And a lot of the time, he just wanted the freedom to show his love and support to his sister. And we were trying to protect her so hard that we were actually putting a gate up between him and her. So we've learned a lot, and we try to share that. We also talk a little bit in the talk that I'm going to do for the summit. We talk a little bit about developmental stages and how we do that kind of work. And I talk also a little bit about seeing about ourselves as parents as well.
Correct. Yes.
So Stephanie, I'm so glad that you've come on to do this interview with us. I hope lots of people see this video and come join us at this summit, because there are so many experts with messages that are going to make our families do even better, feel more joy each day, release some of the stress that really shouldn't be the way that we live. Yes. So I can't wait to look at the other speakers as well, because I have so much to learn.
Yes, I mean, do check it out. I mean, like I said, we have more than 12 speakers from 6 different countries. So everyone, gives their wonderful experiences and insights into this world. And to be honest, when I was giving the interviews, they were teachers to me. You were a teacher to me when you tell me about all the experience, like, hey, I can do this too. This is something I can apply it to my own life. And I am really grateful for their opportunity that you have given me. You shared that knowledge, and I'm grateful for it.
I'm so grateful too for the whole circle of people that are being connected here, because after you attend such a summit, the connection doesn't just disappear. There's a network that continues to support one another. Correct. And that's what you need. When you have special needs children, it's so easy to feel isolated and to feel that you are the only person experiencing these challenges. And so remembering that there are so many other people, it's easy to reach out and say, have you ever had this experience? How have you dealt with it? And so each one teaches one, as we say.
Correct. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to the 12th.
Yes, I'm also looking forward to that too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephanie. All the best to you and your 3 children and your husband.